Have you ever felt lost in a wilderness, seeking a way out? Today we delve into Isaiah 43:19. This compelling verse from the book of Isaiah, nestled within the Old Testament, speaks of change, transformation, and divine intervention. It's a promise from a higher power, a declaration of hope and renewal. In the original context, this verse was a beacon of light for the people of Israel, a reassurance of redemption and deliverance, yet it holds a timeless message, one that resonates even in our modern era. It speaks to those lost in their personal wilderness, reminding us that new paths can spring forth even in the most desolate terrains. It assures us that even in our wastelands, streams of hope can emerge. So whether you're seeking solace, searching for guidance, or simply exploring the wisdom embedded in these ancient texts, this verse has something to offer. So let's dive deeper into the verse and find out what it really means. The verse starts with, "See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" This phrase, "I am doing a new thing," is a divine announcement of change, a proclamation of innovation. It's a call to shift our focus from the past and look forward to the fresh, the novel that God is bringing into existence. The new thing isn't a mere alteration of the old. It's a complete transformation, a recreation that only God, the ultimate originator, can accomplish. The importance of perception here cannot be overstated. Awareness, recognition, discernment, these are crucial in identifying the new thing that springs up. It's a call to be vigilant, to be keen observers of our surroundings, not just with our physical eyes, but with a spiritual sensitivity that can perceive the subtle stirrings of divine activity. The phrase, "now it springs up," is equally significant. It speaks to the spontaneity of God's actions, the unexpectedness that often accompanies His work. God's new thing doesn't follow our human schedules or expectations. It springs up when we least expect it, in ways we could never predict. The language here is reminiscent of springtime, of new life bursting forth after a long, cold winter. It's sudden, it's surprising, it's vibrant. Just as a seed buried in the ground springs up to become a flourishing plant, God's new thing springs up, bringing forth life and growth in places we least expect. But to see it, to perceive it, we must be open. Open to change, open to the unexpected, open to the new paths God is carving out in our lives. We must let go of our preconceived notions, our rigid expectations, our comfort in the familiar. We must be willing to step into the unknown, trusting that the new thing God is doing will lead us to places of growth, of blessing, of unimaginable beauty. This part of the verse calls us to be alert and receptive to the new things God is doing in our lives. Scene script. Moving on to the next part of the verse, "I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." Let's delve deeper into this imagery. The wilderness and wasteland symbolically represent those hard and trying times in our lives. They embody the seasons of struggle, despair, and desolation. These could be periods of financial hardship, emotional distress, loss, or any form of adversity that makes us feel like we are wandering aimlessly in a barren wasteland. Now, let's examine making a way. This phrase suggests that God actively intervenes in our lives, not merely observing from a distance. When we're in the wilderness, He doesn't just watch us struggle. Instead, He carves out a path, creates opportunities, and provides guidance to lead us out of our predicaments. He doesn't abandon us in the wasteland. He steps in and transforms our situation, turning our trials into triumphs. What about streams? Streams symbolize sustenance, life, and renewal. In the arid wasteland, a stream is an oasis, a source of life. This signifies God's provision in our times of need, His ability to restore and rejuvenate our lives even when we feel drained and dry. So what does this part of the verse want to convey to us? It emphasizes the importance of hope and faith in God during difficult times. It's a reminder that no matter how lost we feel in the wilderness, no matter how parched we are in the wasteland, God is at work. He is making a way for us, providing us with streams of blessings and turning our desolation into abundance. Remember, our faith in God's promise isn't based on what we can see or understand. It's about trusting in His unfailing love and divine providence even when we can't perceive it. This part of the verse reassures us that even in our darkest times, God is working to create a path for us. Now that we have broken down the verse, how do we apply it in our daily lives? That's the golden question. So let's delve into some practical ways to apply the wisdom from Isaiah 43. 19 in our day-to-day existence. First and foremost, being open to new things is vital. Life is a journey of constant change, and it's filled with opportunities to learn and grow. God is always at work, doing new things in our lives, whether it's through new relationships, opportunities, or even challenges. Embrace the newness, welcome it as an integral part of your spiritual journey. Don't let the fear of change or the unknown hold you back. Remember, God is the author of all things new, the architect of change for our benefit. He makes a way where there seems to be no way. Next, let's talk about trust. Life can often feel like a wilderness, a vast expanse of uncertainty and difficulty. But we are not alone in this wilderness. God is with us, leading us, making a way for us. Trusting God in difficult times is a practical application of this verse that can bring immense peace and strength. When the road ahead seems daunting, remember that God is making a way. He is guiding you, often in ways you may not immediately recognize. Now, on to perception. How do we perceive the new things God is doing? Well, it requires a shift in perspective. We need to open our spiritual eyes and hearts to recognize God's hand at work. This may mean pausing, reflecting, and praying. It may mean stepping back from the hustle and bustle of life to notice the subtle changes, the small miracles, the signs of God's love and guidance. It's about being intentional in our spiritual journey, actively looking for God's new works in our lives. Lastly, we need to remember that God is the ultimate provider. When we feel like we're in a wasteland, parched and weary, God promises to provide streams of living water. This is not just about physical provision, but spiritual nourishment. Seeking God's presence, reading His Word, and staying connected to Him is the key to experiencing these streams in our wasteland. Applying this verse to our lives is not a one-time event. It's a journey, an ongoing process. It's about continually being open to new things, trusting God in the wilderness of life, perceiving His works, and relying on His provision. This is not always easy, but it's always worth it. So let's step into the newness that God has for us. Let's trust Him in the wilderness, perceive His works, and drink from His streams in our wasteland. Let's let this verse guide us, transform us, and help us see the new things God is doing. Applying this verse to our lives can transform our perspective and help us see the new things God is doing. As we conclude, let's recap the key points we've discussed today. We started off by breaking down the verse, Isaiah 43:19, where God proclaims, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." This verse, in essence, is a divine promise of renewal and transformation. It's a beacon of hope for those traversing through the wilderness of life or enduring the wastelands of despair. We then delve deeper into the verse, exploring its implications and the profound wisdom it holds. We discussed how the new thing signifies God's active involvement in our lives, how it's not just a one-time event, but a continuous process. The springing up is the suddenness of God's intervention, the unexpected but welcomed change. The wilderness and wasteland symbolize our trials and tribulations, our moments of despair and desolation. Yet even in these bleak landscapes, God assures us that He is making a way, creating streams of sustenance and hope. In the application stage, we reflected on how this verse applies to our lives. We are often faced with situations that seem insurmountable, where we feel lost in a wilderness or parched in a wasteland. But just as Isaiah 43:19 promises, God is always at work doing a new thing, even if we can't perceive it at the moment. He is making a way, providing us with the strength, courage, and resources to overcome our adversities. The verse encourages us to have faith, to trust in God's divine plan, and to be open to the transformational power of His love. It's a reminder that no matter how tough the going gets, no matter how desolate the landscape, God is with us, guiding us, nurturing us, and most importantly, renewing us. Remember, in every wilderness or wasteland, God is making a way and doing a new thing. Can you perceive it?